news and current affairs. Top stories of the day. Business, sports, music, and entertainment. Dadalhin sa inyo ng mas pinaganda, mas pinalawak, mas pinalakas. Radyo Pilipinas. Radyo Pilipinas. Radyo Pilipinas, Agoo, DZAG 97.1 FM.
Pagpalang umaga mga kabasa, live mula DMMMSU, South La Union Campus, Main Library, Agoo, La Union. Sabay-sabay nating tunghayan at pakinggan ang programang Hatid ay Kaalaman. Inihahandog sa inyo ng DMMMSU at 97.1 Radyo Pilipinas Agoo. Ito ang Library on Air.
At mga kaibigan, isang magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Welcome po sa isa naman po edisyon ng ating programang DMMMSU Library on Air. Atin po sa inyo ng DMMMSU at ng DZAG Radyo Pilipinas Agoo. Ngayon po ay araw ng Biyernes, October 29, 2021. Ito po ang inyong lingkod, Charity Jimenez Frianeza. Kasama po ninyo sa loob po ng isang oras nating talakayan na pagpapatuloy po ng PAARL standards. At ngayong morning po, ngayong araw, ay ating po makakasama bilang co-host mula po sa DMMMSU Mid-La Union Campus. Ang ating librarian po doon from ICT, tama ba? Si Ma'am Evangeline Ricafort. Good morning, Ma'am Vanji.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Sa lahat ng tagapakinig at taga-subaybay ng ating DMMMSU Library on Air. Welcome to another interesting and informative discussion on PAARL standards on the area of collection management. Nasa ika-6 na topic na po tayo about PAARL standards. At ako ang inyong makakasama sa isang oras nating pagbabahagi ng kaalaman, Evangeline Ricafort with the Team Library.
So, napakahalaga po ng magiging topic natin ngayon, Ma'am Vanji.
Yes po, ma'am. Napakaganda po ng ating talakayan ngayon, di ba, ma'am?
Collection management. Kaya siguro maganda pong i-introduce na po natin ang ating magiging guest ngayong morning, Ma'am Vanji.
Yes po, isang buong linggong talakayan tungkol sa PAARL standards. Kung noong nagdaang mga araw, nakasama natin sila Professor Fe Angela M. Versosa, Professor Cristina V. Villanueva, Professor Ana Maria Fresnido, Professor Sharon Maria Esposo Betan, Dr. Nora Claraval at Dr. Pricio M. Merced Jr. Ngayon naman po ay isa na namang espesyal na panauhin ang ating makakasama. Our speaker's involvement in library standards began when she became a member of the committee of the 2000 PAARL standards and of the Standards for Philippine Libraries, a project of the Board for Librarians. Her office mates used to call her a jet setter, not because she frequently traveled for leisure, but related to her assignment as a library accreditor of one of the accrediting agencies under the umbrella of the Federation of Accrediting Agencies of the Philippines. It was her predecessor and mentor, Professor Maria Chidairit, who had made her aware of her role of an accreditor. For more than 20 years during the pre-pandemic days, she traveled at least twice a month to evaluate libraries of colleges and universities. It was during her visit that she saw how the growth of the collection in libraries had contributed towards excellence. She can recall how the collection of libraries had continuously developed with resources that supported the functions of a university. Today, those universities by the PAARL library standards and accreditation were now home of board top-notchers. Those universities sustained modern library facilities with available library collection that are comparable with academic libraries abroad. She graduated from the University of the East with a degree Bachelor of Science in Education, major in Library Science. Her professor recommended her to work at the Centre Escolar University Library. It was in the said institution that she stayed for less than a half a decade of her life. In this institution that she earned her Master in Library Science and Doctor of Philosophy. She was designated head cataloging section. She was appointed to the position as head library department, concurrent program head, library and information science program until 2014. Right now, she's teaching library and information science courses at the graduate schools of Baliwag University, Baliwag, Bulacan, and at UST Graduate School. Without further delay, please welcome our guest speaker for today, Dr. Teresita Hernandez-Calma.
Hello, Ma'am
Hello,
Tessie. Good
ma'am. Good morning
morning.
po.
Ah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, saan man kayo nandoon, viewers and listeners.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay
Good morning
tayo,
po.
magandang ating topic ngayon.
Yes, mapalad po kami, ma'am. Makakasama po namin kayo at yung mga librarians po na katulad po ni Ma'am Banji ay inaabangan din po itong revisions na gagawin po ng PAARL regarding po sa collection management. Pero bago po yun, ma'am, baka pwede po natin munang batiin yung ating mga viewers and ating mga listeners na nakikinig at nanonood po ngayon sa ating live streaming.
O, saan man kayo nandoon, ulit.
Ayan
Good
po.
morning kung narito kayo sa Pilipinas. Kung nasa US and elsewhere, good afternoon and good evening.
Ma'am Banji, siguro unahin na natin dahil napakahalaga pong malaman nitong coverage
Yes po, ma'am.
of
Yes po.
area on collection management, Ma'am Tessie. Baka pwede po nating i-share po ito. Ano po ba itong coverage of the area on collection management?
Well, ang scope ng collection management ay kung papaano magiging hindi magastos ang library sa pag-develop ng kanyang collection. Maraming processes yun eh. Yun ang i-discuss ko mamaya. Hindi, pag in-explain ko ng mabuti, hindi na kayo ma-excite kung ano yun.
Okay. Ma'am Banji?
Yes po, ma'am. Ma'am, what are the types of references found in academic library? Yung collection sa academic library po.
Naghang ata si Ma'am Tessie. Ma'am Banji, mukhang nawala ulit si Ma'am Tessie, ano?
Kaya nga po, ma'am.
Ayan. Naghang. Ay, si Madam Berzosa. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning po, ma'am.
Ayan. Ma'am, wala po kayo audio. Nakamute po kayo.
Nakamute kayo, ma'am.
Ma'am Berzosa? Ma'am Izael? Ma'am, nakamute po
Yes,
kayo.
can you hear me?
Yes,
ayun.
ma'am. Good
Loud and
morning
clear.
po.
Oh, umalis na naman siya.
Nawala
Wala
ulit si
na
Ma'am
naman
Tessie.
po.
Ay, nako. Okay. Just show the slide, ha? Don't show me kasi hindi ako I am not ready. I am, I just woke up. Nakapajama pa ako.
Ayan, kayo po ang
Now, the coverage of collection is actually, there are 4 categories, no? The area on collection includes collection management, holdings, organization, and care.
Alright, Ma'am Berzosa, go ahead po.
Ayun na si ma'am.
Oh, andyan na siya. Okay.
Samahan niyo lang po kami, Ma'am Misael, ha?
Ma'am, nakamute po kayo, Ma'am Tessie.
Tessie, wag kang
Yes,
aalis.
bakit nawawala tayo?
Tessie, do not leave. Napipindot mo yung leave.
No,
button.
kasi nawawala para makita nyo agad ako.
No! Nakikita ka, Tessie.
Nagkaroon
Oo,
naman siya.
nawala ulit si Ma'am. Ma'am, siguro po yung internet connectivity po ni Ma'am Tessie ang may problema po doon. Anyway, well, baka pwede ipagpatuloy na po ni Ma'am Misael Versosa ang ating discussion on the coverage of the area
Coverage of
collection
collection
management.
management. Yes po.
Yes, collection management incorporates a variety of functions, no? It is not just selecting, acquiring, maintaining the collection. We expect na in all these three main functions, we will be able to produce good results without costing the institution any amount of expense regarding collection, development, and management. Can you go to the next slide, please? Ang scope ng collection management involves three, no? Main functions. Yung selection, hello?
Yes po,
Yes,
ma'am.
Ma'am
Go ahead.
Fe? Go ahead
Yes?
po. Okay lang po. Go ahead, Ma'am. Well, si Ma'am...
Hello?
Yes, Ma'am Fe Angela. Go ahead, Ma'am. Naririnig po namin kayo. Oh, nawala din si Ma'am. Ma'am Vanji.
No problem. Kaya nga, ma'am.
Nawala ulit si Ma'am Fe. Nawala rin si Ma'am
Sila,
Tessie.
dalawa.
Ma'am, ikaw na po ang mag-discuss nito. Scope of collection management. Well, ganyan talaga ang ganda na virtual, ano?
Kaya nga, ma'am.
Iba't iba talaga ang
Napakahirap ng
hamon.
collection.
Yes. Ma'am, baka pwede nyo i-discuss itong collection management. Ano pa ang ginagawa natin dyan, ongoing dyan sa sa inyong library?
So, eto na lang po, ma'am, yung sa meron na yata sila. Ayan na si ma'am.
Ayan, bumalik na si Ma'am Fe.
Versosa.
Yeah, Tessie was trying to call me sa sa messenger. I think something is wrong with her connection. Filming napuputo lang connection niya.
Okay, Ma'am.
So anyway, the first main function of collection management is the selection and acquisition of materials. In our first provision, in our proposed 2022 standards, naka-underline dito, naka-emphasize yung modification. Makikita rin na collection development is the joint responsibility of the teaching faculty and the librarian. Tess, would you like to take over?
Okay.
Huwag ka nang aalis dyan. Do not
No,
touch anything.
I do not know bakit naghahang, nawawala ako. So, kailangan I have to leave or else hindi ako makukunik. I really have no idea bakit naghahang. Well, as made mention by Professor Angela, the scope of collection management, our emphasis is more on the quality rather the quantity. Kaya ito ay kailangang mayroon tayong collection development policy. Ano ito? This is a document that will guide the librarians in the selection and acquisition of their library materials. So, kalagay dito, the faculty shall participate in the selection of print and non-print materials, especially in their area of discipline. Kung ano yung linya mo, iyon ang pipiliin mo kasi specialist ka eh. Alam
Specialist.
mo kung ano yung mga dapat. Ang librarian, parang generalist tayo eh. Yung mga
Yes, ma'am.
tinuturo ng iba-ibang program, di naman natin alam yun.
Yes po,
Okay?
ma'am. Sila po yung specialist, ano, ma'am, subject specialist.
Yes, sila yung subject specialist. Parang kung sa doktor eh, yung mga espesyalista.
Yes po.
Okay. So maliwanag na yung ibig sabihin natin ng scope. Sa scope ay yung depth. Gaano bang kalalim dapat? Ayan, malalim. Quality rather than quantity. O maliwanag na maliwanag siguro yun, ano? Okay. O,
Next slide.
Ma'am. Yes po, ma'am.
Next slide.
Pati yung slide, ayaw
Pati
sumama
yung
sa
slide po
akin.
naghahan.
Okay. Yan. Kanya makikita nyo, nakalagay dyan, the collection shall consist of quality, authoritative, up-to-date, and relevant resources that support the library's mission to meet the curricular, institutional, research, and recreational needs of the clientele. Over and above the existing government minimum initial collection. Kanya nakita niyo dyan yung salitang authoritative dahil yung faculty in their own discipline ang pipili ng mga libro na bibilin. Okay, sa selection. Then ito, mga idinagdag to. The library collection may come up in a variety of formats, including, lista nyo na to ha, yung books, journals, unpublished materials in print or hard copy, online or in electronic text or images, and other media formats that are non-print resources such as audiovisual resources, photographic and sound materials. Other educational materials may include research databases, ito yung uso ngayon, open educational resources, malaki ang matitipid ng mga libraries dito, open access resources, and online information available in the internet. These electronic resources will provide alternative options to complement the library users' needs and requirements. So, kung kulang yung libro, wala nang masasabi. Wala akong mabasa eh. Paano wala kang mababasa? Hindi mo pinagagalaw yung mga daliri mo para makita mo lahat itong mga available sa internet. Okay. O siguro masaya tayo mga librarian dyan, ano? Then, ang apat, ang under ng scope ng collection management. Yung susunod ay organization and care of materials. Ito ay alam na alam natin to. Walang papasa sa board nang hindi marunong mag-catalog and classify ng libro. So, organization and care of materials refers to the cataloging and classification of materials according to an accepted standard of bibliographic description. So, bahala kayo kung ano gusto nyong gamitin. LC, DDC, yung mga ibang, kung meron kayong malay nyo, nakapag-design kayo, okay.
RDA, pwede rin.
Yun na yung discovery tool na yun. Ha? Okay. The library shall provide its own cataloging manual of policies and procedures. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng manual, ng policies, procedures? So, ano yung gagamitin natin? Nakalagay dyan, kakatalog natin ang descriptive na describing our materials, we will be using the RDA. Yun ang acceptable standard ngayon. Ang policies naman, ito ang susundin natin. Ang procedures, Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, Step 4. So lahat yon ay magiging guide ng gagamit. Kung sino man yung maa-assign dyan sa cataloging section natin, pababasa natin ang manual of policies and procedures para, ay, bakit ito nagkaganito? Hindi mo ba binasa yan doon sa procedure natin sa manual? Oh, that is the reason, ano? Isa yan sa scope talaga. Then, the library shall have a program for the care and preservation of its collection. It should have adequate safeguard against damage, loss, mutilation, and theft. Alam na alam niyo naman kung ano yung care and preservation. So ngayon, kagaya ngayon, pandemic, yung ibang libraries nakasarado, air condition. So, meron ka ba ngayon diyang program para yung mga libro mo na naka-aircon ka, kailan pa? March pa yata, sarado na yung library. Naku, paano na ngayon yan? So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng bullet na yan. Then, next will be, ito na yon, counter disaster plan to include damage, prevention, and recovery. So, magka-mag-anak yan eh. Dinagdag namin dyan, care and preservation. O, maliwanag na maliwanag yan ha. Kaya, hindi na tayo magugulat. Nako, paano na kaya lagi kang nasa bahay, iniisip mo,
Ulit si Ma'am.
Oh, nawala na naman.
Mukhang naghang ulit po si Ma'am Tessie.
Nagahang, oo. Now, the next question here is, ano ang mga collections in an academic library? Right?
Yes po.
Yeah. Generally, ang collection natin should consist of quality, authoritative, up-to-date, relevant resources, which may be provided on-site or from any remote location, whether you're on the main campus or outside the campus. As mentioned in the previous slide, the collection may come in a variety of formats. Isa yan sa mga bagong provision namin dito sa 2022 standard. Pinropose namin na i-include lahat ng mga maaaring materials na will fall under a variety of formats. Kaya sinama namin dito, hindi lang books, hindi lang journals, pati mga unpublished materials, whether in print or hard copy, or whether they are online or in images, which means mga digital format. And there are other media formats that are non-print resources. May provision then in the old 2010 standard, which we have adopted and retained, no, for our proposed 2022 standards, itong core collection of books. This is an initial collection of books that every library, every academic library should have. Core collection of books and core collection of periodical titles. Later, we will tell you just how many should this core collection of books consist of, how many should this core collection of periodicals should consist of.
Okay, next slide. Oo. Okay, Ma'am.
Furthermore, may mga collections sa isang academic library katulad ng mga textbooks, no? May provision diyan na ang academic library is not really responsible for buying textbooks for their users, no, for their students. Pero just the same, may provision kami na ni-retain that there should be a minimum of 5 copies of frequently used titles. Hindi maiiwasan. May mga titles sa ating koleksyon, may mga libro na madalas magamit. Whether it is used as a textbook uh, or not, the idea is if they are in demand, kailangan mag-provide ang library at least minimum 5 copies. Doon naman sa mga reserve books, ni-retain din namin ang provision na there should be at least 1 copy for every 25 students. These reserve books are located for room use only. Hindi yan po pwedeng hiramin at ilabas during the service hours ng library kasi in demand ang mga reserve books. Kaya ang ginagawa nila at the end of towards the end of the service hour ng library, pwedeng iuwi yan for overnight. Pero kailangan ibalik ka agad ng estudyante or ng faculty the next day.
Pinakamaaga na pagbubukas ng library.
Yes, the following day,
Okay.
kailangan ibalik ka agad yan. Kasi naka-reserve yung mga librong yan. Ang mga nag-reserve niyan, mismong mga faculty din. Kailangan nila yan as a reading requirement sa kanilang mga syllabi, di ba, no, Tess?
Yes, yan yung mga nakalagay na mga required readings. So, kanya inilalagay nila yan sa reserve just to make sure that all students would have, shall we say, the opportunity to read what they are supposed to read. Okay? Next is a searchable electronic databases of the thesis and dissertations, publications, and other intellectual outputs, both published and unpublished, of the graduates and faculty of the parent institution, shall be developed and made accessible by the library to the academic community. So, gagawa kayo ng database. Required na ngayon yan for everybody to know what research materials are available in your library. Aralahanin nyo, required ngayon ang research. Undergraduate, graduate, including tayong mga librarians. Okay? Next is, what is this called? The Standard on Core Collection. Ito ngayon ang lagi, nako, nagkakagulo dito. An initial core collection of 5,000 well-selected books for college libraries and 10,000 titles for university libraries in various formats, usually selected with the aid of standard list and other selection tools, is deemed necessary to meet the educational needs of the academic community. Ngayon may question. Paano yung aking mga electronic resources? Makakasama ba yan dyan sa 10,000 titles? Yes. Kanya nga nakalagay dun sa natin, ay makakatipid ang institution natin dahil dito sa collection management. Now, in addition to the core book collection, a minimum of 5 professional titles per student shall be provided. Recognition should be given to changes in curricular offerings and an increase in the number of books and new academic. Okay, paano natin malalaman? Ilan ba yung pinapahiram yung libro? Kung pinapahiram nyo lang na libro, pinapa-out nyo, 2 books lang. O, di ibig sabihin, hindi natin nabibigyan ng mga, hindi natin namimit yung 5 titles per student. Madali lang naman mag-gauge yan eh. Basta titignan mo, ilan ba yung valuing privileges? Kasi pag nagsabay-sabay yung estudyante, nang hiram, nawalan ng laman ng library. So, yun ang ibig sabihin natin yan. Okay, next. Parang walang nagtatanong, Okay, next slide.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. Kanina, yung books. Now, we have the periodical collection.
Test.
Yes.
We have to emphasize that yung requirement natin na 5 professional titles per book is an addition to the core book collection.
Yes.
It is, ang halimbawa noon, if you have 10,000 students in an academic institution, times 5, you should
Naglilima.
have,
Okay.
ilan yon?
Magko-compute na ngayon sila. So, yan ang ipakikita nyo ngayon dun sa administrators
10,000
nyo. Na
times 5, you
ito
will
ang
have
mamimit natin.
500,000 ba yon? Tama ba ang mathematics ko?
Hindi ako magaling sa mate, kaya akala ko nga, kanya ako nag-librarian, walang mate. Yung pala, lahat ay tanay percent. Ilang percent ang collection? Ilang percent ang user? Ilang percent ang ganito?
500.
Pala. Okay.
500,000.
So, ganun karami. Next will be an additional 3 peer-reviewed professional titles shall be added for every undergraduate degree offerings, and 6 professional peer-reviewed or peer-refereed journals for every graduate degree program. O yan ha, dati na yan. Pero we have to emphasize yung peer-reviewed professional titles. Over and above yan dun sa ating initial core collection.
Okay.
O, maliwanag na maliwanag, ha? Then, the recommended ratio of volumes to combine total student population and full-time equivalent teaching faculty should be 10 books per user. Yan ang recommended. Pagka full-time equivalent, alam na natin kung ano yung full-time equivalent. Half day, may isa pang kwentahin mo. So, isa yon na faculty. Then, the recommended annual growth of the collection shall be maintained at 5% in accordance with the program offerings and enrollment. So, ito pala, 5% ng total collection, yun pala ang dapat nating bibilin. Kanya may idea na.
Every year yan, annual growth.
Oo nga. Ito yung bibili natin para ma-meet natin yung 5% annual growth. Kanya may mathematics na naman. Tignan mo, lahat may mathematics.
Talaga magko-compute ma'am.
Oo.
Yeah.
In accordance with the program offerings.
Yeah. Yung recommended ratio of volumes, no? 10:1 includes the student and faculty population. Dinagdag namin yung full-time equivalent teaching faculty kasi pagka nilagay lang namin yung dating provision sa 2010 na nakalagay faculty lang, hindi mo ma-eksakto kung ilan ang talagang bibilangin mo among your your population kapag kinuha mo itong 10:1 na ratio. Kasi karamihan ng mga academic institutions, they employ part-time faculty. Diba, no, Tess? So may mga institution na kukunti lang ang full-time, pero ang dami-dami namang part-time. So pag kinuha mo yung equivalent, bawat dalawang part-time, isang full-time. Ganun ba yun?
Isang full-time.
Okay. So, doon mo ma-approximate yung ratio ng volumes mo, kung gaano karami ang content ng iyong collection, kung ang ratio ay 10:1.
Maliwanag na ngayon yan, ha?
Kung 10,000 ang total population, times 10, 100,000 yan.
100,000, yes po.
100,000. So maliwanag na, depende yan sa dami ng population. Pag 10:1 at may 10,000 ka na population, 100,000 yan. In addition yan, ha? In addition.
Oo, in addition, dagdag pa yan, ha? Okay. Madali naman makukuha yan kasi kailangan mamimaintain natin ang annual growth ng 5% per program.
Wow.
Okay. Then there should be an extensive Filipiniana collection relevant to the school's curriculum to be separate from the main collection. Ano yan? Yung mga publications ng mga ibang faculty na ginagawang readings. Magaganda din naman yung mga research ng faculty sa iba-ibang school natin. Then,
Ma'am, meron po ba din tayo natawag na standard na classification scheme na naayon po sa academic library?
ano?
Meron din po ba tayong standard of what classification scheme na naayon or suitable for an academic library?
Ayan. Yan yung question number 4. Is there a standard classification? Okay.
Nawala na naman si Tet.
Okay, Ma'am Angela, kayo na po ulit.
Alam mo,
Yes, ma'am.
depende yan sa depende yan sa academic library. Kasi depende sa size, no? Actually, karamihan ng mga malalaking academic libraries, ito yung mga university libraries, no? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead po, ma'am. Malinaw po.
Okay. Karamihan ng mga university libraries, they use the Library of Congress. They use the Library of Congress because they find the classification more easily expansive. Madali mong i-expand. So, pag marami na dumadami ang collection mo, kailangan yung system of classification mo expandable. They can be madali mo siyang it will fit the size of your collection. Karamihan ng mga small college libraries usually they use the Dewey Decimal Classification System.
Pero ma'am, sa amin po dito, DDC ang ginagamit din namin.
Wala namang problema yon. Madali din siyang
It's okay lang.
expandable. In fact, alam mo, ang Dewey Decimal is used even by some university libraries abroad, like in the US, no? Na malalaki rin. Hindi na sila nag-reclassify. Kasi napakahirap mag-reclassify. Kaya kung dyan kayo nagsimula, pinakamadali at pinakamaigi na i-maintain na lang yung DDC classification. Yan ang expert advice ng
Yes,
mga
ma'am.
administrators, library administrators. It is really very tricky, very difficult to change classification just to suit the size of your collection.
Yes po.
Now, periodicals are indexed also. And you can use the standard tools for indexing periodical materials. Sa atin, sa Filipiniana, I think may ginagamit tayo na local standards for indexing periodicals na Filipiniana, no? You can refer to the UP periodical indexing tool.
Yes po,
Ngayon, isa sa pinaka-importanting provision din sa bagong 2022 na standards that we have modified is the provision for an automated catalog system. Yung dating 2010, it was only recommendatory. Pero din sa bago nating 2022, we are insisting na dapat every academic library should have an automated catalog system. Go ahead, andiyan ka na pala, Tess.
Okay. So wala naman magiging problem kasi sasabihin nila ay mahal. Well, ang National Library tinutulungan ang lahat ng mga libraries all over the country na magkaroon ng automated catalog through their KOHA. Libre lang yan.
Yung KOHA, libre. Yeah.
Yes,
ma'am.
KOHA.
Yes po, yun po ang ginagamit namin, ma'am.
Okay. Ano
Yes,
din
ma'am.
yun ha? Open source integrated library system.
Ma'am,
Kailangan
Sige.
lang ng training. Kailangan talaga ng ah, masusing training program to adapt the COHA, no? Library system. Maski
yes,
nga anong
ma'am.
system, kakailanganin talaga ng training.
Yes po.
Oo. O, next slide, please.
Ma'am, what effective programs can libraries adapt to evaluate its collection, resources, and online databases, both quantitatively and qualitatively?
Okay, very good question. The library shall provide for a periodic evaluation of the existing collections. Idinagdag namin to in order to maintain its quality and continued relevance to the needs of the library users. And dinagdag din to, bago to determine collection strengths and weaknesses. So ano ba yung role nitong evaluation program natin? So ito ay magiging guide sa atin. Ibig sabihin, relevance pa ba yung mga nandiyan dyan sa'yo? So i-evaluate mo yung existing collection mo, lahat ba yun may research value pa. So kung wala ng research value, yun yung magiging weakness yun. Para maging strength naman yan, yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, may annual growth ka na 5%. So yun yung para ma-maintain natin ang quality at saka relevance ng ating collection. Marami naman
Pero
ginagawa.
test.
Oh,
Ang
sige, meron tayo dyan mga gap
tinatanong din
analysis na ginagawa.
ang tinatanong din ano ang mga programs na available to the libraries, to the librarian to assess their collection. Dito mo minention yung most widely used evaluation
Okay.
method. Yan.
Okay, ito yung list checking method. It is a process in which the library's holdings are compared with one or more list of selected titles. Nung kami sa reference namin, meron akong reference book. Tinitignan ko isa-isa kung lahat ng mga ito, meron na ba kami? Ito, meron ba kami? So, yun yung ginagamit na checking method. Then there is called the collection mapping, yung sinasabi ko kanina. Gagawa ka dito. Parang may gap analysis ka,
Yeah, yung collection mapping is the process of examining the quantity, the quality, actually quality ito error in typing yan examining the quality and quantity of the collection. And in the process, you will be able to identify the strength and weakness of the collection. It involves examining the collection by comparing it also with some standard, no? It is similar to the list checking method, no? Kasi yung list checking method, you assess the quality of your collection by comparing it with another standard listing. Itong collection mapping, ganun din. Pero merong collection mapping tools na automated siya na you can just simply examine the quality of your collection and whether it has gaps, no? By using that particular tool, no? Next slide. Wala na yata si Tess, hindi pa
Ayan.
nakakabalik.
Wala si Ma'am Tess. Pero Ma'am Angela, baka pwede nyo na rin sagutin yung importance ng pagkakaroon natin ng standards on collection management. Ano bang kahalagahan?
According to the International Organization of Standardization, this is ISO. Di ba ang DMMSU ISO accredited?
Yes po, ma'am.
ISO or ISO? ISO accredited kayo, di ba?
ISO.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, ISO.
Okay. According to ISO, a standard is a document that provides the requirements, specifications, guidelines, or characteristics that can be used consistently to ensure that materials, products, processes, and services are fit for their purpose. So, according to, andyan pa na si Tess. Tess, go ahead.
Sige. Nawawala yung akin, hindi ko malaman kung bakit eh. Okay, so maliwanag kung ano ibig sabihin ng standard. It provides requirements. Ano yung requirements? Dapat may ganito tayo. Specifications, dapat ganito. And guidelines para yung itong propose sa standard ng PAARL, magiging guidelines natin to ensure that materials, products, processes, and their services are fit for their purpose sa academic libraries to support instruction, research, and extension service, the function of a university. So, the collection in the proposed 2022 standards, it will ensure that our collection truly supports the functions of our parent institution. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
what are the standards on collection management 2010 versus 2022 PAARL library standards? And what
Very
were
good.
yes, ma'am, what were added, retained, and removed on the collection management, holdings, organization, and care of materials?
Okay. Ang naging pagkakaiba ay nakalagay dito. Ngayon, collection management recognizes the importance of access to resources rather than ownership. Thus, ito pinaka-importante, providing access to other collections not owned by the library. O anong ibig sabihin ng mga other collections not owned by the library? O siguro si Angela, baka meron siyang gustong i-share dito.
Ang ano ngayon kasi, ang usapin ngayon, not every academic library can hope to be complete, independent, no? Kailangan talaga nakikipagtulungan ang isang academic library with other libraries para sa ganoon darami ang mga collections na maa-access ng kanilang academic communities, no, respective academic communities, without having to own the materials themselves. Hindi na uso yung ang library mo, ang intention mo is to have as much as possible everything that you can possibly own in your collection. Hindi na yun ang main goal ngayon. Ang main goal ngayon is providing access to knowledge, providing access to different sources of materials, not necessarily nasa pag-aari mo, not necessarily available sa mga shelves mo. They can be available outside of your room, of your library, because what is important is that you have access to them. Yun ang ibig sabihin.
Maganda yung sinabi ni Professor Angela, ano? Kasi dito, ang inaano natin, kasama na ngayon ang leasing, renting, planned resource sharing, and cooperative storage, electronic access to databases. So, wala sa iyo yan. In-access mo yung resources ng other libraries. Ngayon, we have to build networks with other libraries. We have to be members of different library consortium. Kaya magsumali na kayo dun sa PAARLnet. So, para yung mga provisions nun, ma-enjoy nyo. Okay, next.
Yung mga naka-underline, yun ang mga bago, no? Yes.
Oo.
Yun ang mga bagong provisions natin.
Okay.
Yan. Mga naka-underline.
Yan. Ang nakaano dito, collection Collection currency and vitality should be maintained through judicious weeding or deselection. Ito yung dinagdag namin. Kasi dati, weeding lang tayo eh. Deselection. Tignan nyo sa ibang bansa, nakakagawa sila ng 1 million holdings dun sa library. Eh tayo, hindi. With, tapon. Eh ngayon, dito sa deselection, okay, makaka-build na tayo kasi kung may research value, especially halimbawa sa education, gusto nilang yung mga bagong libro sa education, galing din yun sa mga lumang libro, eh yung researcher, gusto niyang makita yung talagang original. Yun ang anuhin natin dyan. Kaya, maintain vitality through judicious weeding or kanya namin dinagdag ang deselection. Kasi pagka sinabi, weeding, luma na, tapo na. Yun ang perception ng ibang mga librarian. Luma na yun eh, wala nang gagamit yan. Oh,
Yes
diba?
po, ma'am. Ganun po.
Okay, so a regular deselection program shall be undertaken to keep the collection relevant and up to date, particularly in the fields of science and technology. Then, dati natin eh. Yes.
We have to emphasize here na hindi ibig sabihin na diniselect na sila, itatapon. Iba yung dinidispose mo, tinatapon mo, or pinamimigay mo sa iba, or ginagawa mo scrap, no? Ang ibig sabihin lang nito, you will have active collections of relevant current materials, updated, no? Hindi outdated. But yung mga outdated na nadiselect, ibig sabihin lang noon, they will be stored in a separate location, whether within the library or outside the library, basta they are still accessible. They can be retrieved anytime, basta't may nangailangan. Ibig sabihin noon, they are no longer active. Pero these inactive materials in your collection should still be available anytime may mga ngailangan.
Yes po.
Kanya hindi yan ilalagay dun sa bodega, ha? Yung iba nilalagay nila sa bodega. Yan, gagawa natin ng separate na area. Pwede kang gumawa ng old book collection. Kung ano yung ibig sabihin lang nun, hindi na yun yung pinaka-latest edition. But still, may research value pa yun. May mga napapasyalan nga ako eh. Bakit kakaunti ang libro mo? Eh kasi sabi po, ang kailangan ng collection eh, ano lang, available yung 5 years old lang. The last 5 years, yung books na copyrighted within the last 5 years. Eh hindi ganun ang ibig sabihin nun.
Para at least ma'am, may magagamit pa ng iba.
Hindi lang yun, talagang hinahanap talaga kasi may
po.
research value yung mga materials na old copyright dates. Maski na basta sa education, social sciences, even yung math and some sciences, basta pure sciences, no? Yung mga materials with old copyright dates, they are still useful. May research value. So, yun namang mga materials na sa social sciences, education, may historical value. Hindi lang research value. Kaya dapat, mini-maintain din sila. They should still be kept in the collection. They can be separated dahil kung gusto mo, halimbawa, na pag tinanong sa accreditation, nasa ng collection mo, makikita nila na updated ang collection mo within the last 5 to 10 years. Pero, if you show them na part of the collection is this section on old books, no? Then, they will realize na hindi mo tinapon yung mga what we call outdated collection, no? They may be obsolete, but they have research or historical value.
A very classical example dyan, yung mga cookbooks. May mag-uso na ngayon yung mga fusion. So, baka akalain natin, ay, luma na to libro na to, tatanggalin na natin. Hindi. Kasi may value pa yon. Ha? Okay? Now, nakalagay
Yan,
ito.
subscription. Yan, subscription. Bago yan.
Oo. Okay. Nakalagay ngayon dito sa holdings natin, over and above the existing government minimum initial collection. Ang holdings natin. Kasi meron tayong ni-required kanina na 5,000 kung college, 10,000 sa university, then may mga required na core collection sa titles. Dito sa holdings natin, over and above the existing government minimum initial collection. Kasi required ang research ngayon, kaya kailangan marami talagang mababasa. Then, subscription or access through a consortial interlibrary arrangement to electronic databases of scholarly journals is deemed necessary to complement the above requirements. Ito ay dinagdag namin. Basta nakalagay dito, access through a consortial interlibrary arrangement, electronic databases or scholarly journals is deemed necessary to complement the above requirements. Kasama ngayon sa holdings yan. Okay? Then,
Nabanggit mo na yan.
oo, bakit nga? Pumalik ito dito.
Basta nabanggit mo na yan. Yan ang mga bago kasi.
Nadagdag ko na yun nga.
May dadagdag pa kayo?
Baka tapos na.
Ayan.
Hindi, kasi tinatanong lang yung mga bago.
Nasabi na natin to kanina.
Hindi,
So, yun-
hindi.
okay.
Ito, hindi pa yata. Nabisa
Hindi
na
pa
ba
to,
to?
ma'am. Hindi pa to.
Ha?
Itong 5.4.1.
Parang nahilo yung mga sa
Oo,
question,
nabanggit na to.
Nabanggit na yan eh.
Yan, nabanggit na yan. Okay, next
so,
slide.
susunod pa.
Next slide.
So, wala.
Bakit thank you
Tapos
na?
na.
So, yun na.
Okay, kaya pala. Gusto kang mabigyan ng emphasize.
So, yun na po.
Ng emphasis yung mga holdings, Kanya, thank you very much and sorry. Talagang ganito technology, iba-iba, biglang nawawala. The price
Kaya
of
nga po,
technology, ganito
Tama
talaga.
po. Naku, Ma'am Val.
Ang ganda pa ng
Okay.
discussion, ma'am, pero kulang.
Oo nga. Ma'am
Oo,
Val,
kulang.
papasalamat tayo kay Ma'am Tess at kay Ma'am Angela dahil for sure sa mga librarians ngayon na nakikinig, kikita nila yung yung magiging revision ng PAARL Standards on Library. At kailangan yata ng mga inputs ninyo for for the 2022. Tama po ba, Ma'am Tess? Ma'am Angela?
Oo, pero kailangan, hindi natin alam kung nasa ang mga lugar yung nakapakinig, kaya manghihingi kami ng mga inputs. Para kung sakali, meron pa tayong lalong gumanda yung ating proposed standards para sa mga academic libraries, para maging comparable tayo sa mga libraries outside the country. Hindi naman tayo maiiwanan ni magagaling ang Pilipino.
Opo.
Okay?
So,
Thank you very much.
Ma'am,
And,
nagkukuha na po tayo sa oras, pero bago namin kayo bitawan, baka pwede po magbigay din po kayo ng mensahe po sa ating mga listeners and ating mga viewers po, Ma'am Angela and Ma'am Tess.
Si Tessie na lang.
Okay, Ma'am Tess. Yes, Ma'am Tess.
Sige po.
Baka
o
umalis
anong gusto
na
mong
naman yan.
sabihin ko?
Right message
Call
nyo lang
for
po.
inputs.
Any message po sa ating mga listeners and viewers? Message na po bago
Okay,
namin kayo bitawan.
we just hope that the activity, the ongoing activity, will really be helpful to all librarians. And with this, thank you very much, and hope we can visit your libraries and try to see whether what we had shared with you had been applied. Kanya, mag-inputs na kayo para lalong madagdagan, maiba yung ating mga kasalukuyang services, collections, and whatever na nakikita natin sa mga benchmarking tours natin. Thank you.
Yes po, ma'am.
Alright. So, thank you very much, Ma'am Tess, sa oras po na binigay niyo po sa amin. Of course, ang angel po din namin ngayon, si Ma'am Faye Angela Versosa.
Maraming
You're an
salamat po,
angel,
ma'am.
Well, with that, Ma'am Vanj, bago
Yes
meron po
po,
yan,
ma'am.
i-present si Dr. Nancy na e-certificate for our guest speaker po ngayon. Dr. Nancy? Ayan, piniprepare din po ni Ma'am.
Oy, may certificate ka naman pala eh.
Oh, thank you very, very much. Ano?
Oh, nawala yung certificate mo, binawi.
Nawawala kasi yung aking nawawala linya ko.
Nawawala ka kasi eh.
Pati certificate, ma'am,
Hindi ko alam
nawawala.
kung bakit. Kasi naglagay ako ng ilaw kanina, baka nakaka-epekto.
Okay. Hello, Ma'am. Alam mo, Ma'am, ang saya-saya ng segment natin ngayong araw na ito. Thank you, Ma'am Fe, kasi talaga you are an angel. Palagi kang nandyan.
Alam mo, Nancy, ginising mo ko. Dapat alas 12 ang gising ko eh.
Nakita ko kasi, Ma'am, na
Nagulat nga ako eh.
Oo, nakita ko kasing active ka eh. Palagi kasing, ang aga kasi ni Ma'am Tess kanina na nakalag-in. Pero because of the, sabi nga niya, because of the technology, sometimes katulad kahapon, talagang nagkaroon ng sa internet connectivity natin. Alam mo naman na sa Philippines, hindi pa siya ganun ka-stable when it comes to our internet connectivity. So,
Hindi kahapon yata nag-brown out. Or black
oo,
out.
brown out. Oo, saka.
Brown out kay Dr. Briggs sa lugar ng Mindanao.
Eh,
Ngayon naman, ang brown out sa bahay ni Tess.
Hindi ko malaman kung bakit. Nag-note dito, loaded daw yung akin.
Ma'am, thank you, Ma'am Tess, at saka Ma'am Angela.
Thank you
Kasi
very
very
much.
timely itong ginagawa natin. At saka, alam mo, sabi ng mga nandito, yung mga technical sa DCAG at saka dito sa library, sabi na, very articulate talaga kayo. Lalo na si Ma'am Angie. Talaga, pati si Ma'am Tess, ang galing ng yung sharing talaga. But
Ang
before
saya-saya ng discussion, ma'am. May angel tayo.
Oo, thank you. Bagay sa kanya yung pangalan niya.
Yes, ma'am.
okay. So,
Kahit sa meeting namin, ganyan.
oo, masaya nga eh. Sabi nila, ang saya-saya, Ma'am. Sabi nila, nakakatuwa. Sabi nila gano'n. Kasi nga parang, ang magaling-galing mo daw sumalo, Ma'am Angel. Sabi ko naman, expertise niya kasi yan eh. Kaya siya yung, alam niya yung mga sinasabi niya. O sige, before that, Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University sa Bilang Bacnotan La Union, Integrated Library System presents this Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Teresita Tess G. Hernandez-Calma, Faculty of the Graduate School of the Baliwag University and University of Santo Tomas, for sharing her invaluable knowledge and expertise on the topic PAARL Standards Area on Collection Management during the DMMMSU Library on Air program at South La Union Campus, Agoo, La Union, given this 29th day of October 2021, signed Dr. Jaime A. Pacmanuel Jr., DMMMSU University President. Thank you, ma'am. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations!
Okay, and we will also present.
Congratulations sa inyo.
Salamat po,
Nakapag-deliver
ma'am.
na
Hindi
din
binawi
kayo.
yung certificate mo.
Oh, thank you.
Another,
Also,
December.
congratulations sa DMMM State University Library for this kind of projects, sharing with fellow librarians the latest.
Nancy, teka muna, Tess.
Yes.
Bakit makalimutan? Baka akala nila tapos na ang ating episode.
Hindi pa.
Ipaalala natin na meron pang
May susunod pa.
Meron
Oo,
pang
kanyang
pahabol.
project eh. Oo.
Mayroon pa sa
Kahapon,
November
after
4,
Judas.
si Ma'am Sonia. Yun na yung last episode natin. But eventually, Ma'am Angel will be coming back again for another episode naman. So, before we end, nag-usap na kaming dalawa, mayroon ka ding certificate, Ma'am Angel. Baka babawi din. Oo, yan. Ayan. The same text din siya. Ayan. O, yan. Na yung ano mo. The certificate of appreciation is also given to Professor Fe Angela M. Versosa, the chairman of the Committee on the Revisions of PAARL Standards. Ayan. For sharing also her invaluable knowledge and expertise on the topic PAARL Standards Area on Collection Management. Ikaw nga yung angel kanina kaya mabuti na lang.
Thank you!
O sige,
Thank you.
ayan, signed by our University President, Dr. Jaime Ipac Manuel Jr. Thank you, Ma'am Ha. Thank you, Ma'am Angel and Ma'am Tess.
Thank you. We will see you again on November
4.
4, right? November 4, same time, same place. Ay, hindi pala same place. Same time. Ano to?
Same channel.
Anong araw to? Anong araw ito? Thursday, ano? November 4?
Thursday.
November 4, 10 to 11 again, ano? And hopefully, wala na tayong masyadong abirya, ha? Huwag niyo na akong gigisingin.
Mag-standby ka ulit, Ma'am. Gigisingin kita ulit. Hindi ako nakano kasi I went to our accounting office kaya ganito ang tsura ko. O sige, Ma'am.
Lalo na ako, nakapajama ako, oh.
Yes po. At sa punto pong ito, kami po ay pansamantalang magpapaalam. Ako po muli ang inyong kabasa, Evangeline Rica Fort with the Team Library. In behalf of the Team Library, we would like to acknowledge Dr. Jaime Ipac Manuel Jr., University President, Dr. Joan Rivera, SLUC Chancellor, Dr. Eduardo C. Corpus, MLUC Chancellor, Dr. Junifer Tabafunda and LUC Chancellor, Dr. Sonia S. Isip, Director, Library Service and Development, Dr. Nancy F. Galban, Head, LSD-SLUC, and Professor Robilin C. Nara, Head, LSD-MLUC.
Okay, sa ngalan din po ng lahat ng bumubuo ng DZAG, Radyo Pilipinas Agoo, headed by Station Manager Ms. Maricel Fronda. Ito po ang inyong lingkod, Charity Jimenez Frianeza. Nag-iwan na po ng isang magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. God bless everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy. Happy weekend!
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you!
Okay, thank you.
Inyong napakinggan, usapang kaalaman mula sa silid-aklatan ng Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University, South La Union Campus, SLUC Library, the storehouse of knowledge, library on air. Muli nyo kaming samahan sa susunod na Webes at Biyernes, alas 10 hanggang alas 11 ng umaga para sa panibagong kaalaman. Dito lang sa 97.1 DZAG Radio Pilipinas, Agoo.